Hey everyone, Dennis here, and I am in downtown Norman, Oklahoma with Amanda, and we are gonna do the Norman Ale Trail. So we're gonna hit up every single brewery here in Norman, but I'm not much of a beer drinker, so I decided to get an expert.
Hi, my name's Amanda and I drink beer in Norman, Oklahoma, and the first thing we're gonna do today is go down to Legally Brewed and we're gonna brew a beer.
Now, before you travel the Norman Ale Trail, you want to grab yourself a passport, which you can pick up from the Visit Norman Center, any of the breweries, or even download the Visit Norman app for the digital version. Once you've collected stamps from all the different breweries, be sure to turn in your passport to the Visit Norman Center via in-person or mail to receive a prize to commemorate your experience.
We're here at Legally Brewed today to do a collab with the Beer Babes family. And Shayna, do you have anything, do you want to talk about the Beer Babes a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're here collaborating with Tracy. He has very graciously let us come do a collab with them to make a golden stout.
We support women in the beer industry to help women with their beer-related businesses, or if they want to go to brewing school, learn about beer, beer sciences, all of those things.
Yeah. So yeah, we have on brew day, every pint and thereafter, as long as it's available, we have a dollar or whatever the brewery decides on is donated into our grant that once a year we have women apply for through a application interview process, and then we donate that into the grant. And yeah, it's granted to one woman that we pick every year.
And this is our first Oklahoma brewery collab, so we're super excited to have Legally today.
Yeah, we're excited to have them. We have women owners and brewers as well, so this really hits to our heart and what we think is a mission. So we're the newest brewery in Norman, smaller, but we like to brew beer for people who normally don't like beer, or for people that like beer, the classic styles, but we put fun twists on them. So
Tracy, you're the expert here, but I'm just gonna say that all I've learned about brewing so far is that most of brewing is cleaning things. You have to make sure everything is sanitized all of the time. And then the next part of brewing is just like, make sure you have really good water.
yeah. You're always transferring, always dumping, always cleaning, but you're right. The first thing is clean. Make sure everything is clean. So we'll heat up the water over here in this, what we call the hot liquor tank. In the brewing world, liquor is water. So we'll heat it up there to a certain temperature depending on the style of beer we're doing. Then we'll have all the grain and we'll put it in this mash tun, and we'll move that heated water over into the mash tun, and that will take all the sugars out of those grains and create a wort, sugary water. And we'll let that sit for about an hour. We'll rinse it out as we're also transferring it into the hot liquor tank. And that's where we add the hops or special additions if you're doing a wit beer like a coriander and orange peel. But if you're doing an IPA, you'll add a 60-minute hop or 90-minute, depending on how long you're boiling it for. And then you'll do that 60-minute hops will do bittering. Your 30 and 15-minute hop additions will do flavor and aroma. And then if you do a whirlpool, you're adding hops in there to create those hazy IPAs, those New England IPAs. After that, we'll boil it for an hour, and then we'll chill it down to 68 degrees and send it over to our fermenters and let the yeast do their magic and create beer.
So while that's brewing, we're gonna try some beers. And since I am a Gavel Club member,
That's right.
I get to use a fancy mug and get a larger pour than normal. So I'm gonna do the award-winning American Pie Berliner.
Coming right up.
Another benefit of being a Gavel Club member is that you get to try a 4-ounce pour of the beers before they go on for everyone else. So you get to try everything a day early, which I did the other night. And I got the new spicy dill pickle beer, and it's fantastic. And they also have a new, what is it, lavender hard seltzer?
Empress.
Yeah, lavender Empress. That's lavender and elderflower hard seltzer, which was also fantastic and summery.
It's summery and delightful.
It is summery. That is true. It is summery and delightful. But it is 7% ABV, but it doesn't taste like 7%. So that one's kind of dangerous.
There you are.
Perfect. My giant mug. Oh, that's so good.
Hits the spot in the summertime.
I love how it's tart and appley, but also you get the cinnamon. So good.
Just like Grandma's apple pie.
Yeah. Except it'll get you drunk. Sorry.
Depends on the grandma. Some are.
You're right. It really depends on the grandma. I'm about to try the Disco Lemonade. It is a lemonade sour and it has a ton of glitter in it. So a lot of times when they serve it, they got to go in and shake the keg to really get that glitter moving and make it have a lot of sparkle. Just gonna pour that up. And this is the sour base, but it's made with Lemonheads candy. So it's a sour beer, but it's not too sour. So pretty, so pretty. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what angle is best to get glitter, but you can see that. Pretty little bit of sparkle in there. I love that, and it makes me feel so pretty. They actually do several different beers at different times that have glitter. The Pride beer was really pretty. It was a really pretty purple color.
Ruby Slippers.
Oh, Ruby Slippers.
That's a good one too.
Moody Blues it's not on right now, but it is bright blue and has a ton of glitter. It's absolutely gorgeous.
We use Sour Patch Kids for the Moody Blues.
Yeah, so
It's got that blue raspberry flavor, which is pretty tasty.
people love that. I think we're also gonna try the Sovereign Stout, which is a dry Irish stout. Normally I don't like things that have too much of a smoky finish, but this one is perfect. Not a lot of breweries do a dry Irish stout anytime except for around St. Patrick's Day, so this is a real treat. It doesn't have as high alcohol as a lot of stouts or like pastry stouts or imperial stouts, so you can still sit and drink a pint of it.
Kind of like a session stout.
Yeah, kind of like a session stout. And this beer is so creamy. I love the mouthfeel on this. It's like perfect. Look at that. Yeah, you can see that like nice creamy head on that. It's pretty perfect. Use a little bit of a stout mustache. I love this stout so much.
It's super tasty.
Yeah, it's not sweet at all. It's got a good dry finish. It's super drinkable. Really can't go wrong with that. All right, what's one more that you recommend?
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Only because we get to say that, but it is also, we source 56 pounds of local Oklahoma honey on it. So that's what is a large sugar base on this beer. It just turned out really nice, clean,
Yeah.
refreshing, but packs a little bit of a punch.
And that's a honey oak ale. And you guys did this for the medieval fair, right?
Well, fair, yeah.
So, you know, Norman things.
Very fitting. We kind of wanted to get across
Oh, wow.
from mead
It has a
and
fantastic
beer.
smell. Yeah, it smells like a mead. All that honey in there. It's got a really pretty golden color. I'm acting like I've never had this before, but I drank a ton of this at the medieval fair, like so much of it.
Same.
Well, it's perfect for being outside,
Oh, yeah.
too.
Because it doesn't feel very heavy either when you drink it.
Yeah, that's so good. It is sweet though, so if people don't like sweet, they wouldn't enjoy this, but it's not overly syrupy
Right.
like a mead or like you might expect for having so much honey.
Yeah.
I like it. For our next stop, we're at 405 at their new location at 205 East Main Street, and we're here with Trey. He's one of the co-founders of 405, and why don't you tell me a little bit about the brewery, how you guys got started, and how you like being on Main Street?
Hi, Amanda. Thank you for having us. We started 9.5 years ago at our Topeka location on the north side of Norman. And over the course of those 9 years, we knew that we needed to add another location to serve the people of Norman and with the great brewing scene in downtown Norman.
All right, well, let's order some beers. Let's taste some beers. I
Okay.
see that you have a couple of things on the menu that start with the word jazz.
Jazz, yes.
Is this a series? Is this something new that you're doing?
Jazz in June takes place at Andrews Park in Norman, of course, every June. So we were inspired to make a Jazz in June beer. So we made our Belgian-inspired wheat for 2024.
So-
And now there are some variants of the Jazz in June wheat. So Jazz in June, and we have Jazz Hands.
Jazz Hands.
Jazz Hands. And so everything we do here is we're all about the hand movements. So I've been told that this is like the jazz sax.
Jazz sax.
Jazz sax.
And you have to do this when you order the beer, right?
Please do. We do encourage you to always have fun when ordering beer. Coming here is all about having fun. It's also about blending as well. So if you want to try maybe the Jazz Hands is too mango-y for you. This is a mango wheat. You can always cut it with another beer that's on the menu as well.
Oh, cool.
You can make your own creations.
What do you recommend maybe mixing with Jazz Hands?
Tell me you tell us what styles you like, and we can find things that we're going to blend.
I'm super into hops. Like, I like hoppy things more, and I think hoppy beers kind of mix with mango pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty good flavor. So what would you put in there?
So maybe we could try an interdimensional Pope.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with a small sample for you, and then you are going to help direct the blend ratio. If you find something that works well for you, you love this blend, we do encourage you to name that, share that with the beer tenders who are here, and if it's lovely, we'll put it on the menu.
Nice. Okay. So are we calling this Jazz Pope or Interdimensional
Hands.
Hands? Maybe not Interdimensional Hands. That's maybe not. Jazz Pope. I think Jazz Pope is probably better. So what's the ratio on this one?
We're going to assume it's 50-50.
Okay, 50-50.
I'm not a scientist
you
here.
can still smell the mango, but it definitely looks more hazy than the wheat beer, so that's nice. Oh, I like that, but I do think it could be a little bit more of the mango. Do you want to try?
Absolutely.
Are you looking for sweetness in the beer?
Yeah, maybe a little more sweetness.
Okay. I'm going to encourage us to make one additional beer, add one additional beer to this. And you're okay with sweetness?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm adventurous. All right, let's see. Ooh, that's a pretty color now.
One of the problems you have in naming so many beers jazz is that when you put the stickers on the taps and they all say jazz.
They all say jazz. Ooh, that's just about perfect.
Okay.
That's fantastic. What was your magical addition there?
So the magical addition was Magic Whip. So it's Strawberry Magic, which is a splash of Strawberry Magic Whip, the affogato, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a 50-50 mango interdimensional splash of the Magic Whip.
So I think we should call it Interdimensional Jazz Magic.
Interdimensional Jazz Magic. Ooh.
Yeah.
I can figure out how to draw that.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. I like that. What's the coolest blend? What's your favorite blend?
Ooh, my favorite blend. It's maybe a boring blend, and that's okay.
Very good.
But it's going to be grapefruit sour. Mm-hmm. In the past, it's always been grapefruit sour with Trépied.
Oh.
And we call that the Cancun girlfriend.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Now that takes me back to my days of high school and, just many memories. And so we don't need to talk about that here.
Did you have a okay. It's fine. We won't talk about that. One of my favorite beers that you guys do is FDR.
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit about the history of that beer? I know you guys have been producing FDR for a while.
We have. So FDR was the very first production beer that we made at our production location. I guess that's repetitive. It was the first beer that we made in production. FDR is an imperial coffee stout at 10.5 or 11%, really depending upon the batch. We only use coffee from a local coffee roaster. We grind all of the coffee. We are extracting that coffee flavor through a French press style extraction at the end of the boil at 206 degrees for the proper 4 minutes. Nice. Again, you imagine the kettle is just a big French press, and that's how we make FDR.
I bet that brew day smells amazing.
It does smell amazing because we're grinding it all right before we're putting it in. So 15 minutes before the end of the boil, we're grinding up 20, 25 pounds of coffee to put into this beer. It's pretty incredible.
Wonderful.
So FDR stands for
feeling dang right. Is that it? Is that correct? That's correct?
So 4-letter word to start with, and then 4-letter word for the second word, and rules. So it's forget the darn rules, but with expletives.
Oh.
Sentence enhancers.
Sentence enhancers.
Spicy sentence enhancers.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so we were told originally with FDR when we were making it on a homebrew scale that the recipe did not follow conventional imperial stouts at the time. And we're talking 2007 to 2012. You had imperial stouts on the market, like, well, this doesn't taste or look like and or smell like a conventional imperial stout that's on the market. And so we said, we're just going to abandon those rules, and FDR was born.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that you guys are always thinking outside the box. Can we do like a little pour? Just
Of course.
an infant-sized pour of FDR.
An
It's pretty
infant-size.
strong, and we're going a bunch of other places, so. But
This beer is
Just for
also
the shot.
not brewed for infants.
yes, there are no beers brewed for infants that you serve here,
Correct.
probably.
Probably. We have water.
FDR is my favorite. I love it. That's a good looking beer.
So this is the strawberry version of Magic Whip. Magic Whip started 2 years ago, and it was a beer that was inspired by the Dole Whip of Disney World, Disneyland. So if you go to one of those magical places on Earth, you can have the pineapple Dole Whip. So pineapple soft serve ice cream with pineapple juice. And it's delicious on a hot day when you've walked 22,000 steps across one of those magical parks. Of course, do not want to infringe upon anyone's trademarks.
Right.
And so we do use only Dole soft serve ice cream. They make 10 different flavors. And we use only real fruit in addition to the Dole soft serve.
Delicious.
And so this one is strawberry. So we take our live culture sour base versus a kettle sour. We can go into that later. But we take our live culture sour base that's aging between 3 and 6 months. We then add in a whole bunch of Dole soft serve ice cream and then the real fruit. So this one's strawberry, soft serve, and strawberry.
Yeah. So when you say, I'm going to just go right back to it. When
So-
you say live culture sour base, what does that mean exactly?
Live culture is where we are keeping those bacteria cultures, the lactobacillus cultures, alive in the beer during fermentation. So there is a synergy happening. Don't necessarily love that word. There's a synergy happening between the yeast and the bacteria during fermentation, that co-fermentation, where obviously one is consuming the sugars to produce alcohol, while the other is consuming the sugars to create a titratable acid. And so they work in harmony, and you just got to give them some time. You got to be patient. They tell you when they're ready. And from the day that it's brewed to the day that it's consumed, that bacteria culture is always alive in that beer. We're not killing it off. Kettle souring also makes terrific sour beer, and that is taking the wort or that sugar water on your brew day, pitching in your bacteria culture, letting it sit overnight, drop the pH, create a titratable acid, and then you're gonna boil that to kill off all of those bacteria. So it just makes two very different beers. Both are the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Our preferred method is just the live culture.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Science.
Yes.
All right. Well, Trey, thank you so much for having us in today. Everything was absolutely fantastic. I love you guys so much.
We love you too. Thank you for being here, and we always look forward to having you back and all of your friends.
Yeah, thank you. And one more thing, can you stamp my Norman Ale Trail passport?
I absolutely can.
For our next stop, we're at Big Brewing. That stands for Beer is Good. And I'm here with Justin and Eric, co-owners and brewers. And how are you guys doing today?
We're awesome.
Are you ready to pour some beers?
We're ready to pour some beers.
Okay,
We love
cool. Can you tell me a little bit about Big Brewing and how you got started in the industry?
it. Yeah. Honestly, Eric and I have been friends since we were 18, and back then we were too young to buy beer, but we could buy the ingredients to make beer, so we started playing around with it. Garages and bathtubs, and made some horrible beer back then, but we got better. And as we progressed through life, we learned more about the process, and always wanted to have a bar together. So we created Beer's Good Brewing Company, and it's been a blast. We keep it real small batch. We rotate beers constantly, so we still have fun brewing, and just been a real special process.
That's awesome.
These years.
Do you have a favorite beer that you like to brew?
I think all the brewers kind of have their styles that they gravitate towards. Eric has been really aggressive with the more traditional styles of beer. He does a lot of the old style lagers and quads and tripels and all those sorts of things. Sean, who we also refer to as Panda, he does a lot of our barrel-aged stouts and pastries and that sort of thing. I've kind of gravitated towards the hazies, although we all kind of cross-pollinate here and there. If he wants to make a hazy, he'll do one. If I want to make a lager, I'll do one, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Nice, nice. I absolutely love your hazies. And spoiler alert, we brewed a hazy last Tuesday for our collaboration with the Beer Babes family.
Yeah, it's gonna be delicious, I think.
Can you tell us a little bit about that beer?
Yeah, it was the best brew day ever because the Beer Babes did all the work, so it was amazing. But it's a hazy that we went a little heavy with the wheat and the grain bill, so it's going to be a little smoother mouthfeel. But we used a brand new hop that we've never really played with called HBC 1019. It's supposed to have some amazing aromas of flavors of like honeydew melon and caramelized bananas and stone fruit, and just smelling the hop, it was awesome. So I'm ecstatic to see how it turns out.
Yeah, that was a really fun day. And if you want to join us for that, it happens on August 10th.
August 10th.
That release day. So that'll be super fun. You have another hazy on right now that I really like.
Yeah, Flight of the Conchords.
Yes.
So that's what we got right now. It's a hazy, but it's a little bit different. We actually add about 5 gallons of grape must from Sauvignon Blanc grapes. And we use Nelson Sauvin hops, which also gives off kind of a Sauvignon Blanc flavor. So they really go well together. Eric's drinking one right now.
Looks like this.
Yeah, it's pretty hazy.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gone over very well. But it just kind of shows our whole model is we're constantly just experimenting with different hops, different malts, different yeasts. We have a blast with it.
Yeah. And how does that differ? I think you have Panda Hands on now.
Yeah, Panda Hands is a more like a milkshake IPA. So that one is different in that it's probably a little more on the sweet side, but we also infuse some mango puree into it, so it gives a little fruited, hazy milkshake IPA experience on that.
Nice. You want to pour me a little pour Panda?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll take a look at it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I love this beer.
Awesome.
This is one of my favorite. It's just so hazy. It's just so hazy.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes from, obviously the brew process, but then infusing it with the mangoes, I think, just gives it another level. It's
I
cool.
think you guys have a little bit of a weird one on right now, Smurfberry.
Smurfberry, yeah.
Tell me about Smurfberry.
So
we'll do a little pour Smurf
Yeah.
so that we can.
We've always had a lot of fun with the Berliner Weiss style. It's a sour wheat beer, kind of low ABV, and we've always played around with different ways of fruiting it. A lot of times we'll use fresh fruit and do something with raspberries, blueberries, those sorts of things. But for Norman Music Fest specifically, we wanted to have something kind of wild and weird. So we decided to put some blue raspberry extract into our Berliner Weiss base, and it came up with this kind of bluish green Berliner Weiss that we call Smurfberry. And it's kind of fun because you see people walking around the festival, and it can turn your tongue blue. So it's a little bit different. So.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a pretty crazy color on that. And this was like the first time that I learned that if you put blue extract into a beer, it turns green. It doesn't necessarily turn blue because yellow and blue make green.
Right,
so
right. Science.
That's kindergarten level science. But I figured it out the first time I got a pour of this.
Yeah.
I love this beer. It does have like that really Sour Patch Kids tart candy kind of flavor.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe we're going for because it's different. We prefer to use fresh or frozen fruit with most of our fruited beers that we do, but this is just something off that we can easily do, and it looks a little crazy, and we have fun with it.
Yeah, I love that one. Well, do you have any other beers that you guys recommend? Is there anything else you want to?
There's a really cool one we have on right now that Eric actually made, and we call it Steam Beer Willie. And it's basically kind of a homage to Anchor Steam out in California that recently went out of production. They have a delicious traditional style called steam beer. We wanted to duplicate it, and really have had a good response to it. People like it. It's a traditional, just real straightforward, crystal clear, amber forward beer, and it's delicious. So see what you think.
Okay, what is a steam beer exactly?
So a steam beer is basically an ale that you use lager yeast in. So you're, instead of fermenting at lager temperatures, you're fermenting at ale temperatures. And so it gives off kind of a unique flavor profile and a dryness that's really cool on a beer like that.
Oh yeah, that really does have a dry finish.
Yeah, it's a beautiful beer.
That is fantastic. That's really really crisp and refreshing, actually.
Yeah, it's gone over well. So we hope to get that on the rotation, I think.
Yeah?
So,
Yeah, it'll be back.
Yeah, this will stay on a little bit.
yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Eric, for talking to us. We really appreciate it. And we have one last thing to do. Can you stamp our Norman Ale Trail passport?
We can definitely do that.
Because you know I want that prize at the end. Boop.
Nailed it.
Thank you so much. It's really good talking to you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
in, guys.
We're at the Standard taking a quick lunch break from our Norman Ale Trail crawl, and the Standard is great. They have one of the biggest tap lists in Norman. I'm drinking a Raspberry Pride from Neff Brewing, and they're in Tulsa. You can get beers from all over the state of Oklahoma and beyond here at the Standard, as well as some really, really good food. So it's a great place to stop, even though it's not on the Ale Trail, to get food and refresh yourself halfway through. We're here at Lazy Circles with Robert, the production manager. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Lazy Circles and how you got your name?
Yeah, so Lazy Circles started as a project between Holly and Stephen Basie and Stephen Swanson. It relates to the state song, Hawks Making Lazy Circles in the Sky, as well as, you know, whenever you pick up a glass and move it around, you make small lazy circles on the table. So
that kind of explains why your logo is the circle and
Correct.
the other
yeah,
half circle. That's cool.
yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna try some beers. So,
Excellent.
Let's see, what do you recommend that's on the board right now?
So I think what we should do is probably a couple of our staples, and then maybe some of the newer and kind of more seasonal things.
Okay.
So my recommendation maybe, so as far as staples are concerned, we have Dirty Bird Red, which is our red ale, related obviously to Lake Thunderbird. Trail Ale, which also kind of relates to the lake as well. You know, you're out on your bike. It's a nice, refreshing, easy to drink beer after you get done riding around.
Cool.
Summer Breeze, which we do in conjunction with the Depot here in Norman and their Summer Breeze events in the summertime. So concert series out at Lions Park, great events on Sunday nights. So if you're ever around and able to, you should attend those.
Cool. What style of beer is that?
It's a raspberry goza.
Nice.
So a traditional German style with a little salty profile, a little tartness, and then we add raspberry to it as well. Super traditionally, you just make a base goza, and then you'd add a fruit syrup to it. But there's not a lot of interest in just the base goza, so we go ahead and add the fruit ahead of time. And then also, I think we should go into Station 1, our hazy IPA. This new round came out yesterday, so it's drinking real nice, looking real good.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah, I like a hazy IPA, so that'll be great.
let's go.
Let's do it.
All right.
You guys also have like a cycling club,
Correct.
right? That you do. When is that?
So on Wednesdays during the summertime, it's pretty much time change to time change. We do a cycling club that starts here and it rides for an hour, ends back here. And we have a couple of sponsors that help get beers for all of the riders that go out and do that. So
That's really fun. And you can join that at any level of cycling. Like if you're a beginner, then
yeah, so we do a few different distances. So all the rides last an hour. We do a couple of different distances. So they start at 11 miles. That seems to be pretty accessible for pretty much anyone. Then we do a 14 and an 18 mile ride.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And so because they're an hour long, that's also the average pace. So you got to be able to keep up at 14 miles an hour
I see.
and 18
I
miles
see.
an hour.
Yeah.
So those are really for the more advanced riders, especially the 18. They go kind of out east of town. So kind of it starts to get hilly out there.
Yeah.
So if you're not used to it, a lot of people can really get gassed doing that. So
Yeah, that's really cool that you guys do that. I don't think anybody else on Maine has that.
yeah, I think the closest thing is Cross Cannons and their run club that they do.
Wow, these look nice.
Yeah, so our flight boards were made by one of a friend of the brewery, and he just basically took little cookies of trees, drilled out the holes. We add bottle caps and rights so that you can keep track of. Oftentimes when people take their flights to their tables, we go ahead and give them a menu as well so that they can keep track of what they're drinking.
Right.
Here it should be relatively easy to tell because they kind of look a little different, but so we've got, this is Station 1, this is the Dirty Bird. This is Summer Breeze, and this is Trail Ale. So
Cool. Okay, what order do you recommend drinking these in?
that's a great question. So I think I would start probably with something like Trail Ale because it's nice and easy and lighter. Maybe move to the fruit and the Summer Breeze here, and then go to our Station 1. And then because it's just a little darker and heavier, a little bit bolder flavors, then move on to the
That makes sense.
Dirty Bird.
All right, well, we'll start here with Trail Ale. All right.
So Trail is our all Citra hopped American Pale Ale.
That smells great.
So all of the hops in the beer in total are all Citra. The kettle hops are all late additions. So just a small amount at the end of the boil to add a tiny bit of bitterness, but the vast majority of it go in whenever we actually cool down the wort to about 185, 180 degrees.
Yeah.
So cool down the beer, add hops so it doesn't extract a lot of bitterness. And then we dry hop it within a few days of fermentation beginning. So
That's awesome. It's really light and not overly bitter.
yeah,
It's really good.
It's a really nice, refreshing, like I said earlier, you know, if you get off the trail, you want to just like have a real quick beer,
Yeah.
nice and easy.
And it's what, 5%?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not too bad.
No, nice and easy. Kind of modeled after Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale. You know, something that's easy to drink, something that's accessible and fun for everyone.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Everyone 21 and up.
Everyone who's not an infant.
Correct.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You said this is one of your core beers, right? So you guys have this most all the time?
Yeah, we should have it pretty much year round.
Nice.
You know, there's always production fluctuations here and there, but both Dirty Bird and Trail are going to be available pretty much year round. Summer Breeze is available generally only in the summertime. Station 1 is available most of the time, but not always.
Okay, so and I'm going this way. I'm going to Summer Breeze.
Yes,
All right, and this is raspberry, huh?
correct.
All right, that's a really pretty color.
Yeah, so
It's
a
like
light pink.
Yeah.
So the base beer is really pretty close to the Trail as far as the color, and then with the raspberry addition, we add about 88 pounds of raspberry
Wow,
puree
that's
to
a
it.
lot of raspberry puree. But you can smell it. Yeah, it smells very raspberry.
So again, this is one that we do in conjunction with the Depot and Summer Breeze. So it's like, it's got a little bit of salt in there. It's got a little bit of tartness. So it's kind of, you know, think about it as like a sports drink, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sports drink for adults.
It's, you know,
But-
it's really easy to drink like in hot weather. You don't
Yeah.
want anything super heavy, so that's
Right. Yeah, and it's a 4.7%. So, you know, the goal here is not necessarily to have more than what you need, but
Right.
just enough to get you there and
Yeah.
have a good time. And then this one is Station 1. So this one is primarily Eldorado and Azacca hops. It is all late addition, cool, pool.
Oh, wow.
There's no bittering charge in this at all. And then we also dry hop it with Eldorado and Citra.
Oh wow, that's really hoppy. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
got a nice hop character. That's a really good mouthfeel too.
Yeah, so lots of oats in there, some wheat in there as well to help build that mouthfeel, build the protein structure, keep it that kind of hazy look.
That's fantastic. So what is the name Station 1? What does that refer to?
So we're right across the street from Station 1, the first fire station in Norman. So most of the breweries in Norman are kind of centered around the downtown area, or Old Town, as a lot of people call it. So Station 1 is right across the street. That's the fire station that kind of started here first in Norman. So.
All right, this is Dirty Bird, and this is the first beer that I ever actually had from you guys.
Okay,
And I love
excellent.
this beer.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites.
So it's a American red, so it's got a little bit of hoppy bitterness to it, but not a ton. You know, a little bit more than what someone may think of as like a traditional Irish red or something like that. It is, you know, kind of on the darker side of red, but it's still a red beer. You hold it up to the light, you can see bright,
Yeah,
brilliant
it's like
ruby colors
nice
coming
amber.
through. Yeah, so kind of a joke on the lake as well. So we talked about Trail Ale, you know, you get off your bike and go ride. That one, you know, we often joke that Lake Thunderbird is Lake
Yeah,
Dirty
Lake
Bird.
Dirty Bird.
So, but the beer doesn't taste like the dirty water.
It does not. It
So.
tastes so much better. As someone who swam in that lake before, I would much rather swim in this.
Yeah.
I just need one more thing from you. Can you please stamp my Norman Ale Trail passport?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll see that.
Boom. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming by.
We are at Crossed Cannons, and they're over on Campus Corner, and we're here with Bo. He's the co-owner and brewer here at Crossed Cannons. And how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Doing
How
good?
you guys doing?
Doing good. Can you tell us a little bit about Crossed Cannons, a little bit about your history?
Yeah, sure. So we're a really veteran-inspired brewery. I mean, you can tell just by coming in here by all the beer names. The Crossed Cannons comes back to my dad and my kind of heritage in the military. He was Army, I was Navy. So we use the symbol to represent us here at Crossed
Oh,
Cannons.
that's cool. That's really cool.
So, like I said, all the beers are pretty much named after some kind of a slang or anything like that with the military.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite beer that's on tap right now?
So right now I'm liking GI pretty good.
GI, and that's your double IPA?
It is. Yeah, it stays pretty popular and people seem to really enjoy it. It's a smooth IPA without it being too aggressively hoppy.
Oh, that's cool. Do you know what kind of hops are in that?
So that one is Simcoe, Citra, and Mosaic, I believe.
Nice, the triple threat. I like that. All right, so we'll probably try one of those in a minute here to get off the ground. I did see that you have over here a thing where you can pay it forward and buy a beer for a veteran.
Sure, yeah, so
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a program we kind of came up with to really show that we care for the community, and it shows that the community really cares for our veterans.
Yeah,
so you can come in here, buy a beer for somebody and for a veteran. And
that's really cool. I like that. I haven't seen that anywhere else in town. I like that a lot. We're also thinking about maybe getting Major Dill,
Sure,
and that's your pickle Berliner.
it is.
We've heard it's really good. Can you tell us a little bit about the beer, about what a Berliner is?
So Berliner is a German wheat beer, but it has some lactic sourness to it. So it's not like a real aggressive sour beer, but it does have some nice smooth sourness with it.
Okay, cool.
And we just dosed it with a bunch of pickle juice. Used both bread and butter pickle juice and regular pickle juice.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay, I'm looking forward to trying that. And I'm really curious about the Pad Eye Porter. I haven't seen that on your menu before. I haven't been in a bit.
Sure.
Can you tell me about that one?
Yeah, so that was a porter that we aged in bourbon barrels for 18 months. So then we transferred off to the bright tank, and then that's when I flavored it up with vanilla beans and espresso.
Oh, nice. Okay, can you tell me about the name?
Yeah, so pad eye. So up on the flight deck, they have these pad eyes. They're circular, and that's what they use to tie like the planes down to, stuff like that underway. So it's like a strap for the.
And it keeps the plane from rolling off the deck?
Right.
My husband was in the Navy.
Sure.
What is your biggest selling beer during football season? I know you guys probably sell a lot of beer over here during football season. You guys probably get pretty packed out.
Yeah, so it's going to be our American Light Lager, the Boomer Blitz. That one sells. We can't. It's hard.
You can't keep it on. Yeah. I like it. It's a really great lager. All right. Well, let's see about getting some beers poured, and we'll give them a taste. What order do you think I should drink these in, just so that I don't screw up my palate? Just probably this way?
I would start with GI, then I would go for pickle, and then I would go.
Okay. Yeah, probably
this one has a lot of residual sweetness.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give this a go. Yeah, you've got a great hop character there without it being like overly bitter.
Sure.
That's really nice.
I think that's pretty important sometimes. Because you're going something a bit hoppier, or West Coast IPAs, which you kind of go to.
Yeah, I like a West Coast IPA that's not just a total palate wrecker, that doesn't just ruin you for the rest of the day. Yeah, that's really good. What's the ABV on this?
So that one is around 7.5, I believe.
7.5. Oh, okay. So it's a little stronger than I thought.
Yeah,
for the flavor.
You know, it's not like super alcoholic, but it's,
it's not gonna put me down for a nap, but it's a little strong.
Yeah.
So I know you said you did bread and butter. You said you did bread and butter and dill pickles in this.
Right.
I love this. This is fantastic.
Good.
I love pickle beers,
Sure.
and this is probably one of the best ones I've had. This is fantastic.
Good. Yeah, it has the base of the Berliner that we have here, and then I added the pickle juice with it.
Yeah,
so.
but it's not over the top tart or not too much vinegar with the pickle.
Sure, and that's
It's
what I
still
was
good and
trying.
salty.
That's what I was trying to keep from, because I'm not a big guy on vinegar, and
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be overly aggressive with it.
Yeah, that's good. That's going to be my new hangover cure. That's going to be
Sure.
my hangover beer right there. That one. All right, and this is
That one's
The
gonna
porter.
it's gonna
Okay,
be
so
completely
completely different.
Exactly.
Completely different. All right, and
You'll
this
get-
is vanilla and espresso?
Yep, and you'll get some of that barrel flavor with it as well.
Oh wow, that smells really good. Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
That tastes a little boozy, boozy.
It's a pretty complex beer.
yeah.
There's a lot of things going on with it.
It's a lot of vanilla. It almost, I think you would love this. It almost tastes like ice cream. It's like
Sure.
almost a
Yeah.
vanilla ice cream character there. It's a really soft mouthfeel. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, people have really been enjoying it. I'm not too big into really high ABV sweet beers, but I thought this one turned out pretty decent.
Yeah, this is really good. It's fantastic. Yeah, and I love that it's a porter, so it's a little bit lighter. You don't have that heaviness you might have with a stout, like with a barrel-aged stout.
Sure, not many people age porters and barrels,
Yeah.
so I wanted to try something a little bit different this time around.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. That mouthfeel definitely came out really, really soft. All right, so I've heard that you guys have a running club here. When does that take place and what's that all about?
So we do it every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So they run a 5K around a historic campus over here.
Oh,
It's
cool.
a really pretty run, and we usually get a really nice crowd that comes in for it.
I just want to thank you again for talking to us. We really appreciate it. And I just need one more thing from you. Can you please stamp my Norman Ale Trail passport?
Yeah, so my beautiful wife Katie will stamp this for you.
You can do as many as you want. There we go. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you everyone for watching this episode of Spill Venture on the Norman Ale Trail here in Norman, Oklahoma. If you want to do this yourself, go to the website visitnorman.com to get your passport and learn more about all the breweries.
And if you want to learn more about the Beer Babes family, please visit us at beerbabesfamily.com or on all social media at the Beer Babes family.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Where, how, when?
It's been here since we've opened. I don't know.
Did you get that? Did you get Eric spilling his
priceless,
full
yeah.
beer? Okay,
It's priceless.
just making sure. so that you can have a good blooper reel out of this. So we have
That's Saturday the 13th, not Friday.
and Interdimensional
Do
Magic.
you need a plastic cup?
We don't talk about the fire.
I think that was a good take.
We finally did it at the end.